I built my own finance tracker called Accounter. The idea is simple. I want one clean place where I can see how much money came in, how much went out, and where it actually went. The reason I built this is because a lot of finance apps either feel too complicated, too bloated, or they try to do way more than I personally need. I want something focused, something simple. Something where I can open the app and understand my financial situation in a few seconds. No complicated setup, no unnecessary features, just a clear overview of my finances. Right here I can instantly see my total income, my expenses, and how much is still available. And below that, Accounter breaks everything down by category, so I can actually see what is taking up most of my money. For example, categories like housing, food, utilities, transport, entertainment, and so on. This is probably one of the most useful parts, because numbers alone are not always easy to understand. But when you see the spending visually, it becomes much more obvious what is actually taking up most of the budget. On the right side, I also have an income versus expense chart. This gives me a quick comparison between what came in and what went out. And for me, this is one of the most important things in a finance app. Because at the end of the day, you don't just want to track transactions, you want to understand the difference between earning and spending. Here I can analyze my spending trend. I can see by category where I spent more money over the last few months. The app also lets me add new transactions. Here I can add new transactions. So whenever I have income or an expense, I can enter it, assign it to a category, and it gets added to the dashboard. The goal here was to make this as quick as possible. I don't want adding a transaction to feel like a task that takes forever. It should be simple. Amount, category, type, data, and maybe a short description. Another important part is categories. Categories make the whole app useful because they turn random transactions into something understandable. How much goes into food, how much goes into transport, how much goes into subscriptions, how much goes into housing. That is where the app actually starts to give value. I also want to include subscriptions because this is one of those things that can quietly drain money in the background. A few euros here, a few euros there, and then suddenly you have a lot of monthly costs that you barely think about. So the idea is that Accounter can help keep track of recurring payments too. So from a technical side, this app was also a really interesting project to build. The front end is focused on having a clean and modern interface. The dashboard updates based on the transaction data, and the charts make the numbers much easier to understand visually. If we look into the project, we can see that I mainly use JavaScript, HTML, and for the backend related things I use some Python. My database is a simple mysql database, and I use chart.js to display the graphs. It's all made to be run on a Docker container, so you can easily self-host it on your server. Here's the Docker currently running locally on my MacBook, but you can also just host it on your server and it will work just fine. For me, the goal is not to build the most complicated finance app. The goal is to build something I would actually use. This app is open source and free. If you click in the link in the description, you can see the GitHub repository, so feel free to make a fork, use the code. Let me know what feature you would add to an app like this. And if you want to see more projects like this, subscribe.